Yeah, true.
But you can also pick it away. I'm not a huge fan of the Viego pick because you could see his power kind of dwindling, especially when you're going to go ahead and pick this face up again. Damwon can once again counterpick the Gwen. And I like the pick in general, and on the previous patch would have loved this priority, but right now it just doesn't feel as strong, and he was not impactful in teamfights. This is not a champion that Summit can make himself known on in the late game, but this time they'll change it up. Grab the Kalista on their side early on, Damwon Kia will, with the Diana.
Yeah, not too worried about the Lucian, as it turns out. That means that Liiv Sandbox could head towards that pick if they want to. Will mean that their draft is a little bit more face-up, which can be slightly dangerous. And
we'll just
so,
trade these.
yeah, they will instead just go to the opposite side of the matchup, as it's now Prince that will have all of that long-range poke at his disposal.
It's very much a Prince-style champion. He hasn't played it, actually, this season, but it suits his playstyle. Sit back, poke, play very slow.
Yep.
He's not a very aggressive type player in those late-game team fights. Likes to chip away, and that is perfect for him. We'll see what this last pick ends up being, because you can grab the Lucian, as you mentioned. The Lee Sin is probably the other pick they're thinking about right now, and it did not work well last game. I mean, sure, he was able to get some pressure done. He was able to get that first kill.
I don't think the loss had much to do with the Lee Sin.
No, but there were a lot better options in terms of controlling lanes available. You know, the Lucian we talked about. You could look for a scaling mid lane mage as well for Fate. Like, just not a huge fan of this pick, considering how the last game went. Like, if it gets a different opponent, I wouldn't care as much. But now, guess what?
Yeah.
I've seen this movie before.
I guess prioritizing the flex on Liiv Sandbox's side, it's just so hard to draft towards that when you're on blue side, right? Because Damwon Kia do get the last word, as the LeBlanc still going to be taken away here, expecting once again that the Lee Sin could be heading into the jungle. Viego could also be heading into the jungle. All sorts of different options here as Liiv Sandbox. This is likely where they're going to change up these bans, as Leona and Alistair were taken away last time. As I say it, it's still going to be the Leona taken away.
The Leona here I think is fine, but maybe you ban the Gwen this time when your second ban. Rise is taken away, which Fate was on the cusp of actually having an incredible game, but unfortunately just did not come to pass. He was given all the CS in the late game, had tons of items, so he was ready to pop off. He just was popped before the team fight happened.
Yeah,
and
a
that
little
was
bit
the
unfortunate.
End. I'd love to see a Gwen adaptation here from Liiv Sandbox. If they ban the Alistair again, I think they haven't learned anything from the last game's draft, and that's somewhat concerning.
I mean, Beryl is a fantastic Alistair player, and Kalista is the best Alistair, you know, one of the better Alistair duos, right? But I think you're exactly right. I think the Gwen was very strong, and Liiv Sandbox are going to agree with you as well.
I mean, they can still take the Alistair. What would be really meta would be to take the Gragas here.
Oh, true. I think
it'd be pretty good with it.
To be perfectly honest, I would agree. As Khan, thinking about taking away Summit's Gnar and also giving himself his Gnar, which is pretty good. But no, instead, the Rel is going to be picked up.
I'm really curious to see what Liiv Sandbox use as support now, because you could pick the Alistair into this since it was left available. Common soft counter in the laning phase, and ends up being really strong against the sort of aggressive style of play we're going to be seeing from Damwon Kia. They had higher range than than Liiv Sandbox comp last game. It's still pretty low range though across the board, and they will take it.
Yep, the alley is going to come through as effort, of course, hovering Susan as he always does.
And they get Summit's Gnar. Like this is when the comp is coming together.
But
okay.
I'm thinking that maybe it's time for Ornn. That's what I'm a little bit worried about for Liiv Sandbox, because they don't have the ability to pivot to something like Braum, right? And deny anything like that is okay. Fate just going to try and fight fire with fire here, potentially, as the Syndra going to be considered and will be locked in for Liiv Sandbox.
This is going to be such a hard game for Fate. But if he plays it extremely well, it's a really strong pickup here. You know, the changes to those mage items, the combination cost decrease is going to be great for him.
Also a lot of pick potential now for Liiv Sandbox. This is basically a pick composition.
Yeah, and it's also so great against, you know, the low range champions that have to come into that stun range. Now, the Gnar will go over to Khan. Another, you know, option would have been the Ornn, but with the champions we have here, the Ornn items, the ornaments don't really end up being like amazing for you.
Yep.
Whereas Gnar is going to be able to give you some pretty guaranteed great setup here with the Diana, the Lucian, Kalista's, Fate's Call. I mean, when you think about what Rel can do in a team fight too, like Gnar's your guy. Like he just is the cherry on top of this composition. Liiv Sandbox have made some great changes. I think the Alistar pick is going to be great for the laning phase. The Syndra pick, as long as he doesn't end up getting rolled over by Showmaker, which he shouldn't, ends up being great in the mid to late game. Yeah.
I want to know what that means.
Well, it's all about the romanticists, you know?
Ah, right. It's the amount of romance that's going on. I now understand. Oh, thank goodness. Great meme. Korean community, big fans of how romantic Liiv Sandbox are. And let's see whether this is going to be a romantic comp, you know? Lots of pick potential. They have a Varus, pretty romantic champion. And Viego, unfortunately, a lot of his lore based on romance. Just not the good kind, unfortunately.
A real heartbreaker.
Yeah, pun absolutely intended.
I really like this comp for Damwon, though. I like it for their playstyle. It's Ghost on Kalista. You have Showmaker's Lucian, so you have that lane prio. And yes, the Gnar isn't going to be dominant in the early laning phase, but in the late game, he's just so powerful with his composition. It is a great comp for Damwon Kia's late game team fighting style.
Yep, and I like, the vacuum, the black hole duo of the Rel and the Diana, Magnet Storm plus the Moonfall, just gives you a lot of ability to move champions towards you, which is precisely what this composition wants, especially if Khan is ready with that Gnar bar available. Summit, of course, going to be pretty comfortable playing against this, as he is one of our premier Gnar players. But Khan also had so much success on this champion, not only last season, but just across his entire career.
Yeah, big favorite of his. Now, similarly to last game, Kroko has a lot of power in this game to get the mid and top lanes ahead, and then further that lead into side lane control, because this time also, Summit will have a lot more power to control the side lane. It's not going to be as easy for Khan to just walk up to him and say, no, you're not allowed to be here anymore, like he was on the Gwen.
Yep.
So that's a huge thing that Liiv Sandbox gain with an R pick. So that's something that could come back to give them a little bit more map control later on. And it is, once again, as we kind of pointed out, very low-range composition from Damwon Kia that's so reliant on its combos and its CC setups.
Showmaker's going to go back to the press the attack. See whether that means that he wants to head towards Gale Force to have that little bit more safety. Gale Force was slightly nerfed on this patch, but it's by no means out of contention, as, yeah, Fate kind of counterpicked himself.
It's not great in the laning matchup, that's for sure, but it's also just in general, Lucian gets such advantages in this. We saw it a lot last season, so yeah, part of this.
Prince, there's a crash down. Yeah, Prince going to take a bit of damage here from Ghost and has those Ren stacks pulled out. Beryl actually surviving for a really long time as he waddles around this bottom side without the horse. Beryl really not a lot of movement speed. As, yep, Ghost just going to continue putting on the pressure. This is, of course, one of his favorite picks, as we know, is there's the aggression, effort. Okay, he's burning, but he's going to survive on about 200. As Liiv Sandbox try and fight back, still trying to get some autos in, as it will be level 2 gain.
9-0 for Beryl on this champion here in Korea. I don't think that's the case elsewhere, but...
When do we need to call him Beryl?
We're getting close, aren't we? Level 2 advantage here is very scary for about 1 second after I said that. Now it's tied.
Yep. Just going to be stacking up this way by the looks of things. I don't think Liiv Sandbox is going to be too worried.
Nope. Playing it really well.
Ooh, it's a little bit of a hop over, but not going to be able to avoid the stun, but still going to have some hyper procs here, as Khan is going to be absolutely fine. He's taking the grasp, of course, up here towards the top side of the map. He's just going to try and wail on Summit as often as he can. That's okay. Nice little stun there into the wall.
Yeah.
Summit's playing this one out quite nicely. The wave's still stacking up and heading towards Khan, as we can see. So Khan's not going to miss out on too much from this, but...
Just a little bit of CS and experience, but Summit's losing a little bit too while he's making those plays, so it won't be a massive advantage.
Yep.
The bottom side of the map here too, I mean, this is not a matchup we see every time, but it's extremely common right now in this meta. Kalista always gets an advantage and then pushes the lane out a little bit. The kill pressure is a little bit muted by this Alistar pick, but still,
yep,
it's going to be pretty standard how that's going down there. And we're seeing Prince is still matching the CS, very closely. Meanwhile, the top side of the map, I was like, we got to watch this because
looking for a dive, but Canyon is in position. Liiv Sandbox gonna have to back away. Pretty optimistic to go for that regardless, especially considering the Gnar bar positioning, but still. Gonna go for it. Here is the pulverize in. Let's see what Beryl can actually get done as Ghost basically out of the fight here. Does manage to avoid the piercing arrow. That is going to equalize things pretty nicely, as now Showmaker does have Flash available, but I believe he just used No, he's still got Relentless Pursuit, so it's absolutely fine. Croco not going to have any opportunity to get him there.
I like that Croco comes down here after he sees Canyon top. He's like, oh, I see, you didn't actually get your scuttle. Does come over here and tries to look for it. That's going to force Showmaker over. It does delay this quite a bit. You see the pings coming down from Liiv Sandbox. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure Canyon's over there. Just to keep that in mind for you guys in the bottom lane. They back off. A lot of, you know, exchanges here in this early game don't lead to kills, right? But it ends up giving both teams a lot of information. And the onus is not on either team to have a massive lead in this early game by any means. But, you know, a lot of this, once again, for Damwon Kia is on this Diana, how fed she can get to set up for those late game team fights. Because the Kalista, she's not getting kills. Diana's not getting kills. You don't hit your spike as early as you'd like to around some of those Drake fights.
Yeah, they certainly do want to be focusing on the mid game, but I feel like both of these teams are looking for it. But last time it did feel like they had similar win conditions, where now Liiv Sandbox a lot more pickability, a lot more let's try and get some vision, take down one target. And I think it suits this Viego comp so much more, being able to have this single target CC, or largely single target CC, that can then prioritize one person and then get these resets rolling for Summit.
Absolutely. This is a very different composition than the last time, mostly because of, you know, what the comp for Damwon Kia ended up being here too. Like, it's super different. Like, I didn't like the Viego priority because I thought we were going down the exact same kind of rabbit hole with the comps, but with the differences here on both sides, the Viego pick ends up being so much stronger, and it's great in this laning phase too compared to the Gwyn, and then the side laning later too. Like, on top of it all, Summit has a lot more potential to actually have high impact this game than they did in the last.
Yeah.
Fate is also, again, like, really, really strong later on in the game. It's about execution, and as we saw last game, even with all the money and all the items on the rise, he just got popped early, and so wasn't able to make that impact. Same sort of conversation you always have to have with those late game scaling champions. You know, Syndra doesn't scale as much damage-wise, but her team fight potential is very high.
But what she does for the comp and what she does for how Liiv Sandbox want to play out these fights is very important. I think you're right. And I think that explains kind of why Fate decided to go for this when historically it has struggled a lot into this specific lane matchup.
Yeah. There were a lot of drafts last season where Lucian just came through and it was against someone who just liked to play Syndra because everyone was playing Syndra. So I think those stats kind of don't tell you who was playing the matchup, but you know the laning phase is going to be rough. He's actually stemmed the bleeding on that quite well. He's only 4 CS down, has been totally fine here. This is not, you know, Showmaker going for lethality and all-inning him or anything like that either.
Yeah, well, there's a big old flash in from Beryl. Doesn't have the Magnet Storm, but they don't have a Varus! He just exploded! Effort also doesn't have his ult available, as there's the flash forward, and Ghost grabs that kill also. Summit trying to answer on the top side, but I think Khan is close enough to his turret to be safe. And damn, that bottom lane is now burst wide open.
Yeah, that is massive here. You know, this is the kind of lead that you want, like, as a bonus if you can. Get the Kalista an extra kill here to be a kill and assist. One of the kills goes over to Diana, and that's also massive because that's going to be a ton of extra gold for her. And this is, you know, going to give you a lot more safe mid-game.
Fate out of range, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Showmaker not finding a lot of it, as there's the Mega Gnar available for Khan. Finds the wallop. There's the crush, but knows that he has to play this one defensively. Not going to find that, Aw, that's a little penguin in the ice block.
Yeah.
I got completely distracted from what I was thinking about because I saw the little penguin.
He was playing a TFT game right before he got frozen.
This is the skin that Khan uses every time, but I haven't noticed the penguin.
I never
goes Canyon, effort, gonna just say, nah, get out of here. And Canyon's gonna be like, all right.
Beryl's up here, though. This is not over yet.
Yeah.
Okay, it is now.
Oh, I didn't realize that it's kind of like the old McDonald bottom lane as well, because we've got like horses and cows.
Sure.
It's kind of cool.
So yeah, a little bit of that going on down there for sure. A little bit of livestock.
Yeah. I like it when there's a theme. I like it when there's a theme.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be pretty boring to watch this one for the time being.
Ooh, okay, no. It's going to be Prince looking for it as Ghost. He knows that he's got a... never mind.
Well, the Q comes back up, and that's that.
Yeah. He didn't have flash or anything to reposition, and he just decided that he wanted to go for a fight and lost. So whoopsie.
Well, there you go. That's the end of that one. Yeah, that should not have been as interesting as it was, but hey, change interruptions. We don't always connect those in the LCK, but when we do.
Yeah, maybe it was definitely more interesting in a lot of ways that Damwon fans probably not excited about. Is okay.
Summit's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's gonna face check this one. In goes Canyon. There's the crash down. The flash not to go over the wall as Summit not going to be able to heartbreaker his way out of this one, and maybe they can snowball this one through as well, as Effort still level 5, unfortunately, trying to run away. Just the end of the boomerang will connect onto Effort. As he gets over the wall, I believe has his cooldowns available if he wants to re-engage, but Khan has the Mega Gnar as they look for the stuns. Oh, they managed to pop him before the transformation. Great bait to come through from Effort.
Yeah, like, this is such a great performance from Prince so far here. Yeah, he did get picked in that early exchange where Damwon Kia had a bit of a party in the bottom side of the map, but he's made 2 great proactive plays back-to-back here when his teammates give him the opportunity to. And this is early game Varus actually really popping off. Imagine how he could do potentially later on in the game.
Yeah, true.
We're going to go all the way back to this moment. This is a barrel call. I'm going.
Nice!
There you go. No flash.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's not counterplay to that. Like, he's just dead.
So it's not Prince's fault in that moment, but in this is a little bit on Ghost. But the chains of corruption come through. He threads the needle on those to connect it there, and then Ghost decides to continue to engage. He does not have flash. He only had heal, and so I guess he was probably gonna die either way. As this is actually where you get that pick on the bottom side of the map, you feel great. But then you get a little bit greedy trying to get some more vision control around this Rift Herald, and you didn't see anything, you didn't know where anybody was on Damwon Kia. But the fact that he was able to get that kill, Prince was bottom side, means nobody was nearby. And so you should probably expect they're grouping around this massive objective that is the Herald. They still turn this around. A really proactive play here once again from Effort, but could have been much better. As we're gonna go back to live. The Rift Herald did get picked up by Canyon and all this.
Yep, hasn't actually used it just yet. Has managed to take down the Drake as well. So as far as neutral objectives, Damwon Kia absolutely happy. Pretty even when it comes to gold. And still sitting on that investment of Shelly. See whether she's going to actually be employed. As you can see, bottom side of the map, no plates taken just yet outside of that one that was picked up over on Damwon Kia's side.
Yep, nothing traded back just yet, and even with this lane pushing, they're not going to try to be greedy for anything. There's very little vision around the bottom side of the river here for Liiv Sandbox.
Ooh, Divine Sundera being picked up here from Showmaker, who's just going with as many different builds as he possibly can, by the looks of things.
Down to 9% on range, though.
Yeah.
That line. Still going to be pretty strong.
It's interesting because after he decided to go and play the airy lethality variety, I needed to go and check to see whether there's something I was missing, because I was playing Press the Attack Lucian last night. Maybe I was just completely behind the times.
No, it's pretty normal, that one. Press
the Attack Gale Force is still what everyone's playing. Just not Showmaker, as Ghost this time will be able to use that Martial Poise to get himself out of the way.
And guess who's coming? Canyon's here.
Yeah. Flash available from Prince, but they don't like it when the flash is available, so good idea to come down here and try and take it away from him, as Ghost is going to now just push the lane towards the Varus. I'll be able to pick things up. Feels like Barrel's been unlocked, though.
Look at all the wards here. I mean, double control ward in this brush, not intentional, but they have so much vision control around this bottom side of the river that Liiv Sandbox need to either group up to clear or need to just stay away from that part of the map completely, because you just don't know what's in there at any given point in time. If people are missing on the map, you just cannot be around the Drink-fed Fate.
Ooh, yeah, in a bit of trouble here as there's the calling. Fate soaks the whole thing as the flash forward from Showmaker, just to guarantee that the Syndra is well and truly dead. Thank you very much, Canyon, for your help. And Showmaker takes it away from there, as now Shelly will enter the mid lane. Croco's going to try and defend.
It's such oppressive vision control from Damwon Kia too, because they have that vision control of the river, then they're pushing into the blue side jungle while this is happening. So Liiv Sandbox can't wrap around or try to punish this play from Showmaker because they just don't have any information. So they kill the Syndra, which you can do, you know, as Lucian, you have that kill pressure, and then you get the Rift Herald down. That's massive for them. There's no objective right after this, but it's a ton of extra gold going over to Damwon Kia, who already have back-to-back objective control. And it's a great early game here so far for them.
Yeah. This is a Showmaker special, by the way. The Divine Sundra having a little bit more of a look. As in goes Canyon, and yeah, it's just they get the flash, and then what does Fate do, really?
And nobody can save him because right now, if you look at the, well, you can't look at the main map right now at this exact moment, but if you did, you would have saw that they see only Barrel in the jungle, but they don't have any vision, so they can't even push Barrel forward or push him out and try to kill him because they don't know what else is in there. And then Diana comes through the river because they have no wards there either. And so it's just really hard to actually judge the situation here as Liiv Sandbox because of the lack of vision. And it's not their fault. It's just because Damwon has been so consistent about removing wards and keeping those control wards up. They've invested in them, and it's paying back in huge dividends.
Absolutely. And now we've got 1:20 on this Infernal Drake. Damwon Kia wanting to snowball that continually throughout this game. As then, what are we going to have? I'm thinking, I mean, I haven't had a Cloud Soul today.
It's very cloudy today, but it's not raining. So...
Oh, that's a sign. That's got to be a sign. Weatherman Wolf pulling through here. This is why I can get it right when you're with me, and I fail when Mao's with me, because he doesn't have that Weatherman aspect. He's got a lot of other positives, just not quite the weather.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was very young, I wanted to be a meteorologist guy, like the guy on TV who tells you like what the highs and lows are for the day.
Oh, really?
When I was really young, that's like what I wanted to do.
It's similar to my dad, except my dad made a bit of a typo and became a meteorologist instead.
Very close.
Yeah, it's close apart from everything about what they do. As effort. Okay, he's going to run around here on the bottom side of the map just a little bit. Hasn't pushed any buttons just yet. You can see Ghost when he lands these pierces. It's pretty scary. Both junglers meeting.
Croco doesn't know that Canyon's here, so it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Same could be said otherwise.
I was reminded of that Scotty Doesn't Know song. Remember from Eurotrip?
Yeah.
Wow,
That's been a while since I've
showing
heard
my
that
age.
song.
Definitely might have been showing my age there, as I think Matt Damon was young in that movie. Oh my goodness. And yes, he was in the movie, although he wasn't a main character.
No.
He was just the guy that theoretically sung Scotty Doesn't Know, although he wasn't that either. He was just the actor pretending to sing the song Scotty Doesn't Know. Wow. That was convoluted and completely irrelevant.
This is where Liiv Sandbox can really start to show the power of what this comp can do. Summit has teleport, but he's still walking down. Like, you've got to be super decisive here as Liiv Sandbox because Kong can match that teleport, so you got to stay in lane.
Yeah, you're going to connect there, but not going to go too aggressive, as it looks like Sandbox are going to give this one up. Uncharacteristically passive play, but they just weren't ready to commit, as it's an Ocean Soul. Oh, no.
Oh, well, that means it's probably raining outside, actually.
Yeah, it might have started raining. Oh, maybe it was your optimism, because you want to be able to ride your bike home.
Yeah.
It's harder in the rain.
I don't have my rain jacket yet.
Oh, no. It's just a big disaster.
Well, you know, I do want to point out that Prince went for Gale Force this game, so different build completely. This is the power of the Viego in the side lane when Khan does not have
wow, yeah! Oh, we were busy focusing on Showmaker being weird with his builds, and we didn't watch the fact that we finally have a crit Varus.
Yeah,
I could have sworn it was going to be Ruler that started it off again, but it's not. It's going to be Prince going for more of these autos. I like it.
Summit is going to have to be very careful about playing with fire here, and he's not.
Yeah,
he did.
He's real dead. Oh, Canyon! Well, he's going to be uncharacteristic. Mistake there from Canyon, not going to be able to find the Moonfall.
Still get the flash, so that's pretty nice. But on the other side of the map, this is the real story, is they're actually taking jungle camps away. They get a whole turret here for Prince, who's, you know, decently fed this game. He's going for the crit build, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's going to be like a Blighted Quiver style of build, which is a little bit hybrid of still wanting to use a bunch of abilities, or whether he's going to hard commit onto like, you know, Phantom Dancer or Rapid Fire Cannon or something like that into an IE. It could be something interesting, like heading towards something like the Navari Quick Blades or whatever.
Yeah.
To get more of that CDR, but we'll see where he does decide to go.
It's very hard to execute this type of play, too.
Okay, Summit, there's a big old Gnar into the wall and a very dead Viego. If first you don't succeed.
Oh no!
Croco! Khan's at like 1 health. so Prince is going to be able to Gale Force him to death. The flash comes out from Canyon, so it's okay.
That
he
was
didn't quite hit that, and was able
over.
to give the kill over to Prince as well. Croco actually gigantic brain as Canyon underneath this turret. Let's see whether 4 members are going to be able to get this one done. As Showmaker moves on over, Fate might just die here, and yes, he will. Effort also, he's got the unbreakable will, but I don't know whether he's going to have his life for much longer as I take it all back. Prince, massive damage from this Varus. Q is going to connect there as Barrel's going to be able to bait them in with his stopwatch.
Effort once more, though.
Yep.
He's not done.
Teleport comes through from...
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's really done.
Sad.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, this series is messy.
It's real messy, but it's real fun.
Oh, man. You know, I don't know. Did you watch a lot of Friends? I'm a big Friends guy, as you know.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch very much Friends, to be honest.
There's an episode where, well, we're going to have to hold that thought, maybe.
No, go.
Well, there's an episode where Rachel's living with Joey, and
that Joey guy, he's a joker, isn't he?
and he just throws spaghetti on the floor to show Rachel it's okay because she made a mess on the floor, and I feel like that's like this game, you know? Like
Everyone
right now,
showing everyone else that it's okay to mess up a little.
yeah, like Damwon Kia drops spaghetti on the floor, and Liiv Sandbox is like, oh yeah, let me show you how much spaghetti I can drop on the floor.
There's a bit of that going on.
And it's going to leave a little bit of a stain on this early game, but very well played here from Barrel. I actually really like that crash down engage, and Showmaker's here, he does a ton of damage. Now this is actually incredible damage from Prince. Like, the burst is real, and I'm starting to lean towards that in a very quick blades build after watching
Yeah, I reckon it seems really like a cool idea. I actually don't know what the meta is for this particular build because there has been, you know, it's mainly still Hail of Blades and the just lethality as per usual.
He's going, yeah, we'll see what he ends up building into next, but like, that was a pretty messy exchange. Damwon Kia definitely getting the massive favor out of it, even though it could have gone the other way if Liiv Sandbox had played a little bit safer. But now Khan gets a ton of extra gold. Like, if you look at the gold leads across the map, the big one that you see is Canyon, that has 2,500, because he's been involved in all of these messy skirmishes. Like, he is the plate the Spaghetti was on, and now he has his Zonias. He's got a blasting one. He's got 10 stacks on his Dark Seal, and you know, last game we didn't talk about him too much, but he was the one who made the big plays and got dominant into nice positions. He ended up getting player of the game. But this game, I mean, there's just no question who's made the highest impact. He is everywhere he needs to be every single time, and now he's going to be even stronger. And Liiv Sandbox coming back against this extremely fed Diana on these objective fights is going to be nigh impossible, especially when you don't have Prio on the Drake that spawns in 15 seconds here.
Yeah. I feel like with your spaghetti analogy, it's like Canyon is the floor, and he's just happily eating up all of the spaghetti that's falling over there. And now they're going to see whether they can grab themselves some soul point, as that's what's available. Liiv Sandbox grouped up as 5, as Shirley's going to pop down in the river. Feeling nice about that. Hasn't had a river holiday for quite some time. As Croco looking for the flank, but Showmaker spots him immediately. Barrel holding onto that crash down as Ghost, there's a heck of a lot of spears in there as in goes Canyon once again, but he's engaging onto Effort. Not exactly the priority target as Canyon still has about full health as, there's the Fate's call as Khan dives on in, gets a bunch of stopwatches as Prince is free hitting. That's a little bit scary. Can he kite this one out? Great Gale Force, but it's not quite going to be enough as now Croco's in trouble. And Canyon is honestly the entirety of Damwon almost by himself right now as he is so damn strong. Ghost did so much damage in that fight as well, and that's the ace. That could just be the Baron here at 22 minutes.
It definitely is going to be with the ease of clear, that you have with this comp now on this Baron, with Showmaker here. It's just really easy to actually make sure that you line this one up. And Prince was in really good position throughout this fight. At first, he's there to look for the potential Baron steal. See him charge it up, actually, as soon as Canyon goes in. Not able to steal it away, but he's over here on the left side of the map, and Croco threatening Khan and Showmaker here makes it possible for him to do tons of damage. But Barrel is such a god for this setup. Khan comes through, follows him on the engage, and even though Prince does tons and tons of damage, the end result was always going to be the war of attrition is won by Damwon Kia. Once the cooldowns are up for Liiv Sandbox, you can't peel for the Varus anymore. You can see the potential that he has in these upcoming team fights, though, to really carry this game. And I mean, honestly, we weren't really talking about him that much. We were like, okay, he's the Ezreal guy, whatever. But he's one of the rising superstars right now in this league. Like, he is
I think Prince is really exciting. I think you're exactly right. Yes, his Ezreal's amazing. We want to see more, but going for the attack speed Varus, it's like he wants to try and out-hipster Showmaker, who's now playing 2 off-meta Lucian builds back-to-back. Has his Muramana completed? I believe this is sort of harkening back to one of the older builds, which was Blade of the Ruin King Black Cleaver, and I think this might still be Black Cleaver, just instead of the Blade of the Ruin King, you build Divine Sunderer and the Muramana as Beryl. Looking to get out of here as Chains of Corruption do go wide as we cast a Curse Prince just a little bit.
I mean, Liiv Sandbox have to do something here, although like you're grouped up as 4 and they're 1-3-1ing you, so if you don't actually push the button and go in, then eventually Damwon Kia get both of your turrets on the side, and those are worth a lot more now.
Yep.
Showmaker's just going to sit here and let his teammates come over. This is starting to be too much map control for Liiv Sandbox to even contest anymore.
And it felt like the game was like pretty even, especially when it came to the gold and in these skirmishes, but now it's ballooned. We've got over 8,000, just over 8,000 the lead here for Damwon Kia. It's pretty impressive. Actually, just over 7,000. No, just over 8,000. As there's the culling. Effort very close to dying. The will unbreakable this time, but might need to spend some time on the fountain, which means that he's not going to be here to defend this inhibitor turret.
Okay.
Damwon Kia. Okay, Fate's call. We're going to start off this fight, and yeah, Ultimate has worn off there. Just want to prioritize the turret as there's the flash in. Crash down interrupted by Effort. Really well played there, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Get too much here for Liiv Sandbox.
The stun was so close to hitting Khan there. Prince comes back. He just fought his Rage Blade. Maybe you pick the Gnar there and you can make something happen, but Damwon Kia are going to get out scot-free. No consequences for this commitment.
Yeah.
They don't get the inhibitor, but it's a ton of extra damage, and it's a great way to utilize the time between this 3rd Drake and the 4th Drake, right? You're burning the clock down for the next objective fight where you know you're going to have the advantage. You're just so fed up. Void Staff's up here for Canyon. He's 6-0-4 this game.
Massive.
It doesn't get bigger than this, really.
Why hasn't he updated his book yet? He really needs to get to the next textbook because he's well and truly at the end of this ring.
He's like, do I really need that, though, when I can just get a Void Staff? He's like, I'll get it later. There it is.
Oh, okay, thank goodness, thank goodness. All right, Canyon goes and collects it. Let's see whose name is going to be donated to that particular Death Note, is already sitting at 10 stacks. Going to be feeling pretty happy about that. The Black Cleaver has come through here for Showmaker. Can soften up the members of Liiv Sandbox, and then Ghost can theoretically smack him down as he's now got the Rage Blade on top of everything else.
Yeah, the Rage Blade here is like the cherry on top for this Varus, who has to be the hope for Liiv Sandbox. Prince is the only one who can carry these fights. The CC has to be there. It has to be good, and I don't want to be right there.
Yep.
Do a lot of poke, but you're putting yourself at risk. There's no vision.
Oh, no, not going to quite find it. As, yeah, now without the Scat of the Week, Fate is not quite as strong as that ability name almost escaped me. It's been a while since we've seen the Syndra in the meta.
Krako is 3 levels down on Canyon. He is only a kick. That's all he is in this game now.
Sometimes that is all you need, though.
Yeah.
If the kick's well placed, then it can work. As Effort spotted on that ward, Canyon just searching for a cheeky Q.
Look at all the vision here. Look at the lack of vision for Liiv Sandbox. They're just like, nope, push this mid wave out and get a free
They got
break.
that cheeky ward in the back of the pit as Beryl just gets rid of it. So I was about to talk about it, but the ward. Oh, no, it's going to survive. All right. The rest of Liiv Sandbox coming over here as Showmaker, just going to give him a back massage. And with this build, it feels a little bit like that. All right, Chains of Corruption, connect onto Canyon, but of course he's got the Zhonya's as yes, Summit. Just getting zoned out of this one. He's a big part of their team fight as Khan pops over the wall. Kroko gonna be in a bit of trouble here as there's the Ocean Soul, and Sandbox are like, I guess we don't do anything about this because they were too late.
It's hard to do anything when you don't have vision, and it's hard to get vision when you're always trying to defend your base, like you're playing around inhibitor turrets right now. And minute 30 until this Baron comes up, so once again, Damwon Kia reset, take all the jungle, we'll probably just once again 1-3-1 around the mid lane, push those side lanes, you know, and then eventually group up for Baron. And how can you ever take that away? I mean, Krako was trying so desperately, like, how much warding can I get up here? How much vision can I get? You're alone. I don't think you want to kick that, Diana. She's very happy.
You're never taking that cue. You're never taking that cue, absolutely. Showmaker, he's going to look for Krako, who does take a lot of burst damage.
Look at how hard it is for Krako to do anything in this game to get vision. Like,
yeah.
It's insane.
I really like that Showmaker's decided to go Divine Sunder Illusion as soon as Divine Sunder gets nerfed on range champions.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's hilarious.
That is actually just so hilarious.
Maybe he just wants to show everyone that Lucian's so strong it barely matters what items he builds. Like Everfrost Lucian's coming next game.
it just kind of harkens back to last season, right? Like the way that Damwon Kia have been playing this game and how one-sided the series has been. makes you feel like you've time traveled back to spring season for these teams, you know?
And maybe it just took those couple of, you know, really dominant victories for Damwon Kia to really feel like they were back in the driver's seat.
And when you put Showmaker in an unknown meta on the Lucian, and he is just going to be consistent, he's going to perform every time, and Canyon is playing with winning lanes, like, it feels like Damwon Kia, right? Feels like Damwon Kia winning Worlds, feels like Damwon Kia in spring.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like it. And maybe it's because the Rumble has fallen out of priority. Maybe that was where Canyon was like, I just don't really like this champion very much, right? And now that he's on the Diana, he's really feeling it.
Look at Barrel's positioning here. It's so hard to even walk towards the Baron as Liiv Sandbox right now.
Man, I mean, Damwon Kia just need to throw their wallets up into the air, and they should be able to beat Liiv Sandbox. Let's see whether they can out-finesse it as Effort looks for it, doesn't quite find it, and Canyon looks to be trying to do this one by himself, but he's going to fall first in this fight. Prince goes golden, Showmaker finds the backline, but also finds 4 members of Liiv Sandbox. There's the stopwatch. He's still pretty high health. His Effort's going to be taken down. What do they do about this guy? And Showmaker, didn't have quite the vision onto Croco. Croco limps away, and Showmaker's just going to get down to business, taking down this Baron.
And, you know, this fight was a lot of opportunity, a lot of, you know, options all removed by one Zhonya's. Like, watch how many things are mistimed on Canyon here. That's why I made that really high-pitched sound. Like, okay, he dodges the chains of corruption, and then, like, okay, he dodges the sun, okay, he dodges the scatter the weak. It's like, Canyon's like, okay, you guys just missed everything. And then he still dies, but look at all the damage that's done in the interim. Like, every cooldown was blown on a golden Canyon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the team fight in a nutshell.
But also, like, while that was all happening, Wolf, and yes, he did incredibly well and soaked all of the abilities, but what that did was it meant that this Bruiser Lucian over here, who's built like a set, is just in the middle of 4 people and not dying.
Exactly, like everybody's using their abilities on this golden Diana, whereas meanwhile, Damwon Kia's wallets hurt pretty bad, and Liiv Sandbox had one opportunity to blow Canyon up, but if he gets the Zhonya's off, like, you can't just toss everything on top of that.
The value, though, is that they took pages out of his book.
Sure.
And,
I mean, there's that.
He's not happy about that.
They also got stopwatch out of Showmaker, but he's going to build a GA, so he's also just pretty laissez-faire about that, I'd say. And
indeed.
2 minutes until the next objective here because of the resets, right? Because of that fight that happened for Damwon Kia where they did lose Canyon. They haven't been able to just barrel down the mid lane and win the game, but they're still in full control over the map right now.
Yeah, they've got a couple of flashes on Liiv Sandbox. Flash Scatter the Weak, an opportunity here for Fate if he sees someone that's worth jumping on, but right now it's maybe Beryl and Khan that are the only real options as far as like diving on top of and taking out, because we've got double GA and Azonya's elsewhere. So it's feeling like a little bit of an impossible task for Liiv Sandbox, especially given just how far ahead Damwon Kia are.
Yeah, it's, I mean, so hard.
There's another culling. Just a bit of a backside there, not too much. There's Chains of Corruption. Gonna go completely wide, Effort. Oh dear.
Canyon 1v4.
It's just like a set play that he goes in for, and unfortunately Effort just dies as a result. As Khan looking to push on forward, Showmaker fighting on the bottom side, just soaks an entire ultimate from the Syndra as he's now just dancing around. It's like vintage Uzi, really beautiful to watch here from Showmaker. As diving on forward his summit, now he might have found some of the resets, but nope, just smashed against the wall, and Prince, yeah, even the fountain can't save you. It's the 2-0 for Damwon Kia, and they move to 1 match behind Genji.
And it was very much a solid 2-0 win here for Damwon Kia. They had control of both games throughout the entirety of the games. Game 1, fairly close.